His name was Hilbo Hoggins, a hobbit famously known from his quest to reclaim the dwarf hold, Erebor, from fearsome dragon, Caug, in Middle-earth. On his voyage home on the ocean, a mighty storm wrecked Hilbo's ship in the vast northern Sea of Ghosts. The floating wreckage found its way to the northern icy coast of Skyrim. In this unknown land, Hilbo will have to find his way, attempt to start anew and forge a means to return home. Hello and welcome, my name is Parky and today I am playing some Skyrim. Now, as you might have just heard from the intro, this is a new series on my channel. Now, for those of you who have been subscribed to me for quite a while, you will have realised I've actually done a Skyrim Let's Play, albeit short in nature, quite a while ago. Now, I thought with a reimagining of my channel would come a new series of Skyrim because I like Skyrim. But this isn't any old series of Skyrim, this is The Adventures of a Hobbit, which is basically a series designed by me in the mindset of creating a character and world that you guys will enjoy to watch. There's a lot of mods installed in this. If you're not into heavy modding on Skyrim, then you probably won't want to watch this video. However, what I have done, without detailing all of them in the video itself, I've put them in the description below. So if you want to know what I've got installed and what the exact names of them are, then you can look in the description. Right, so what we're going to be doing straight away is we're going to be choosing and creating our character. One of the mods that we actually have installed in this version of Skyrim is the alternate start mod. However, I'm not actually going to talk about the mods because this is supposed to be about lore and making the characters. We have a hobbit race. The hobbits are creatures native to Middle-earth, a very distant land. After journeying into Skyrim, they have gained the ability to carry more, have more stamina, and regenerate health quicker. They're also quite short, making them quick and agile, but start with less health. They are learned in the ways of sneak, alchemy, and illusion magic. However, hobbits do not possess any starting spells or abilities. So we're going to be playing a hobbit, if you haven't noticed, and to the best of my ability, we are going to be trying to create some form of Hilbo Hoggins for copyright reasons. And that is what we're going to be doing today, as well as getting into the start of the story. Obviously, the first episode isn't going to be steeped in the lore that I've created for this world. However, the ones to come will be. Obviously, we've got to create our character. People like watching it, so I'm just going to get straight into it. So enough waffling. What we're going to do is we're going to make him a bit of a battle-worn Bilbo, because he has been shipwrecked, as you saw as well from the start. So we're going to make him a bit dirty. Maybe not that dirty. Let's see, actually, let's use the arrow keys for this. I do apologise if you can hear my keyboard. It is a new keyboard and it is very loud. Okay, we're not going to have any scars because that's just silly. War paint, again, I don't really foresee hobbits having much war paint. They seem to be a bit of a gentler race anyway. So that's what we're going to do for that. So let's now move on to the face. Now, I don't know whether we're actually going to be able to see very well what this looks like. Let's turn him to the side a little bit. So Bilbo, he has fairly soft features, possibly not that as a nose, or that. More along the lines of a fairly straight nose, which isn't too pointy-outy, which none of these actually seem to be. The better ones seem to be at the start. Perhaps this one, I think, looks pretty good. It's kind of pointy at the end, but it will do. So let's now move on to the nose height. Again, I think this is probably fine. I'm not going to do it in that much detail. Generally, the presets are pretty good. The only things that we want to change really are the jaw and the sort of general like hair and other stuff to make him look fairly like him in the movie. I'm basing this on the movie as well, in case you're wondering. And also, to the best of my ability, obviously in Skyrim, you can't make things as you would like sometimes. So we're going to try this as far as I can go. Okay, so we're going to go on to the eyes now. The eye shape. Generally, the eye shapes in this are horrific. So we're going to probably stick with the one that they gave us to begin with. Because Bilbo doesn't tend to have, like, weird sort of eyes that point downwards. Those are kind of cool. I like those. So eye colour. He has brown eyes, so I think we're just going to stick with the brown eyes if we can find any. He hasn't got pink eye or anything else horrific like that. So I think we're just going to stick with the good old brown ones, and he's not an evil wraith type person either. So where are we? This will do. Eye height, probably bring this down a little bit. As soon as you start messing with all this sort of stuff, I do find that the character models start looking a bit odd. So what for example, You can look like this or like this, and that's not particularly realistic. So what we're going to do is put this sort of vaguely in the middle, like a normal person. Eye depth, again, I think that's pretty fine. Eyeliner colour, probably don't need any of this. I wouldn't think. Eyeshadow, I mean, he's not really into... mind you, it could give a bit of depth. The eyeshadow I think we're going to keep. Eye tint, he's looking a bit pale. It is very cold in Skyrim, and obviously from a warmer climate, a hobbit might get a bit red in the cold, so there we are. This is very in-depth. very, very in-depth. I think the brow's fine, again. Mouth shape, I mean, to be honest, there's a lot here, and I think that one looks fine. Mouth height again, mouth forward. I don't think he's particularly... He doesn't need a pucker, I wouldn't think. Oh, look at me, darling. I'm a hobbit. Oh. Okay, yeah, definitely not. So we're going to keep this as it is. And chin width, I think we're going to take this down a little bit. And chin length as well. Maybe to there. Yeah, and chin forward. Let's have a look. I think this is fine. That's absolutely fine. And lip colour, again, I don't really think we need to change this. I mean, we could put it a bit darker, I suppose. And hair, this is what we're going to see the main difference of. So, we're going to have to try and find one which is fairly similar. I think I found this one earlier, which I think looks fairly like him. If you look at the others, none of them are particularly like Hobbit hair. I mean, you could argue that he's sort of taken on the Skyrim kind of styles, but again, I think this is probably the best one. Where is it? Here we go. He's looking a bit grubby, old Baggins. I mean, Haggins, don't sue me. And facial hair. Again, he doesn't have any facial hair. So I think we're going to just have to go back to the default with this. Yeah, I mean, he could look a bit rough. Let's make him look a bit rough. Because, I mean, he can either be smooth, like in the films, or he can be a bit rough. And I think because we're going on a quest, and this is not a chosen quest, this one, I think this is probably the best choice. And he has darker hair, so we're going to choose this dark hair colour. The alternatives are all of these, which don't look particularly like him. So we're going to go for the dark brown. And we're going to press R. Finish and name your character. Hilbo Haggins. There we go. Perfect. Right. Now, I wasn't sure whether to cut this out either. I think I'm just going to leave it in, just out of interest for those of you who don't know the mod. But we're going to activate the Statue of Mara.
My child, and choose where your new life shall begin.
I have to say, this doesn't make me feel as immersed as I'd like for the first episode, but you're going to have to excuse me, because obviously there's a lot of things to set up in the first one. After this, it's going to get a bit better, so keep your eyes out. Okay, so what we're going to be doing, there's a lot of choices here. We're going to be actually playing as the shipwrecked off the coast. So that's what we're going to be doing.
Hour, there is yet hope.
That's very lovely, Mara. Thank you very much. And then we have to go and sleep in the bed, and our adventure will begin. So, we've just awoken on this ship. There's a woodcutter's axe here. I don't know whether that's going to be any use whatsoever. But as you can see, we're being sort of thrown around inside the ship a little bit. Let's take these fur shoes, actually. That might be useful. Fur armour as well. I don't know whether we can drown in this. But we've got to be careful, because poor old hobbits, they're not too good at swimming. Black robes? Can take black robes. Is this the same cupboard? Yes, it is. Okay, what is that sticking out of it? There's a saw here. I don't know whether I'm going to have much use to saw dirty enemies' faces off, but there we go. Let's have a look. Is this a crate we can look at? We're actually losing health now. Glad I looked in there, though, because we got some money back. Okay, now let's find our way off of this ship. I think we have to come up here. Dear God, that was... I'm not going to do any of the ridiculous kind of... I don't know, like dub acting. I'm not going to pretend to actually be Hilbo, but we're playing as him. The poor forsaken lad. And there's a lot of food here. I'm going to take all of this because it's going to be fairly useful, I'd say. I always like taking food in Skyrim. It's a good backup to restoring health if you get into a really dire situation, which I'm hoping not to get in, but you never know in this game. Things can go wrong at the blink of an eye, especially poor Hilbo knowing his luck. We could take a loot. Let's take a loot, because it's expensive, and we can sell it for nice loot, but the other kind of loot. Okay, so let's take this gold. We're going to take all this other stuff as well. This poor ship, it's been battered by our storm that we faced in the sea. The ocean of ghosts, or whatever it was called. There's a nice crab here. Don't know how that got on board. Can't pick it up either. Right. I think we're almost out of the ship. We're just going to make sure. My loot senses are tingling. So I think we're going to try and take as much of this stuff as we can. We're obviously going to need to forge a new life for good old Hilbo here. The best way of doing that is with gold. And in this strange, godforsaken land that is Skyrim, we need as much of that as we can take. So we can take all this. So I do apologise, I'm not claiming to be any form of professional at this game. I have played a lot of Skyrim, however, so you have to understand I will be fairly good. Hammerfell Garbs, Redguard Boots and Alkir Hood. And actually the good thing about this mod as well is that it actually allows us to... Did I hear a crunch? Dear God. Oh God, the ship's actually upside down. I didn't realise that, so we actually need to go down into the bows of the ship. I see, that was very disorienting. But what I was saying anyway was that in this we actually have some predefined weapons and stuff. Now this one's, the woodcutter's axe, going to give us the best damage. Apparel, let's have a look. This doesn't actually have any armour value whatsoever. We could just get rid of it, to be honest. This is pretty good, so we're going to wear this, and fur shoes as well. Gloves, again, they don't really do anything. Let's have a look at what else we've got. We've also got some potions, potion of minor healing, and all the bread and stuff we picked up. Your inventory is actually randomised what you have in it as well. Let's have a look at this book. I don't know whether this is of any relevance whatsoever. I think it's just a story, to be honest. Just any old book. If you want to read it, then please pause the video. Again, in this, what I think I'm going to do is I'm not actually going to read out the... Can we actually go up any further? No, we can't. Okay. I'm not actually going to read out any of the books. That's because there are several hundreds of books in this game, and obviously that's going to be very boring and time-consuming for you as well as me. So the best thing I can recommend is perhaps for you to actually just pause the video, as I said. However, let's make our way out of this ship. If we can. Right, now we've got to be careful that we don't drown here. Okay, we're back in this place. Doesn't seem to be an exit. I don't know particularly how we're supposed to get out of here. Perhaps we will see if I can cut it until I find where we're supposed to go. Ah, perhaps over here, actually. That would make a lot of sense, wouldn't it? So let's fly through here. Oh, poor old Hilbo. He's not the smartest of hobbits, is he? There's a little gap here. Okay, right. So we're at the wreck of the Skinny Hawker. The Skinny Hawker indeed. Let's try and get up here and look at our surroundings, shall we? To the best of my abilities. So here we are. Right, so this is our wrecked ship that we came from, the good old lands of Middle-earth. And we are currently, if we look at our map, yes, we know all this, we are currently in the very northmost point of Skyrim. Dawnstar, Windhelm are in the view here. And of course, part of the Hobbit mod is actually the Hobbit hideout down here. And I think there should be a Hobbit Hole as well, somewhere. I think it's down here. But we're going to have to find that. That's going to be one of our quests as well. To try and figure out where our home shall lay in, or lie in this new world. And how to speak English properly. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to swim over to the shore over here, and then we'll see what lies ahead. I'm seeing some form of formation up ahead that I'd like to go and have a look at. It's probably some form of ruin. Now, being a crafty hobbit, Hilbo can't help himself in trying to find and seek adventure in this new world. Really, he is soaking freezing cold in this icy landscape, yet he can't help himself in the face of loot. After seeing all that gold in Erebor, god damn it, don't sue me. He can't help keep his eyes off of the treasure in mind. And in a new land, there comes new treasure, and new adventure, and new things to discover. So we're going to go and have a look in here. It perhaps might be a good idea to go over to Winterfell, for God's sake. Obviously you can tell that I am a bit of a fan of the Song of Ice and Fire series. Dear God. Okay, so we're almost there. Once we're here, what we're going to do is we are going to probably go have a look around inside, Oh dear God, there's some walrusi, or whatever they're called. Hoggers, are they? I can't remember. We're going to find out soon enough. We're going to have to get our dirty woodsman axe out, which isn't particularly the best weapon ever. However, we're going to have to deal with what we've got. We've been shipwrecked, we found it on the boat, we haven't got much choice. Just going to have to hope that everything's fine. A few of the crates from the ship seem to have washed up here as well, which is not a great sign. Hopefully there's some stuff around here though. What is this? It's rock. Okay, that is not as interesting as I thought it was going to be. Let's go and try our hand at these people. We're going to have to warm ourselves up. See what we can do about that. And if these guys are too difficult to take on, then the Hobbit is quick on his feet. Dear God. Okay, perhaps that is not the best idea. The Hawker seems a bit of a strong beast for a little hobbit to take on, especially when he's weakened by his exploits of the ship being crashed and him being shaken up in this new land. It's really an excuse, isn't it? But what we're going to do, what we could do actually, I mean, we could explore this place and try and get over to good old... What's it over here? Should we go to Dawnstar? Let's actually go to Windhelm first. Are we being chased by the Hawkers? We are indeed being chased by the Hawkers. Probably shouldn't have taken them on at level 1. And what I'm thinking is... Oh dear. Is he going to leave me alone? Or has he got the scent? I think he's got the scent. No, he's okay. He's fine. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to follow this up here, see what's up here, just because I'm interested. And we can also come back here later on in the game if we want to take on the challenges of this little ruin. Stamina is low, yes, we know all this game, thank you very much for the tips. But what I'm thinking of doing is we might go and visit the good old Hobbit Hole, just to see whether we can meet our fellow Hobbits and get a better grounding in the game, take on some lower level enemies. Because unfortunately the bad thing about our start here is that we have been thrown into the middle of the high-end sort of areas of the game, or the higher-end areas of the game where we're not going to be particularly good at killing anything. So to give our little Hobbit Hilbo a better chance, we're going to take him back to the lower areas, which I know doesn't really make sense in terms of the lore of what I'm trying to do in terms of this quest. But I'm going to pretend. I'm going to pretend and say that he wanted to go and find his fellow Hobbits in the lands of Skyrim. So that's what we're going to do. And he's going to go over here. Where is it? There we go. Hobbit Hole. He's actually walking there, but just to save time, I'm quick travelling. And quick travelling... That's not cheaty either, so I'm sorry to the people who don't like quick travelling. I'm not going to do this completely realistically, because if I have to walk in between every single place in Skyrim, it's going to take bloody forever. So here we are at the Hobbit Hole. That sounded slightly scary. I heard a big loud banging noise. Oh, it's that guy over there. Okay, so we've got some hobbits over here, and just in case you're wondering what we look like, we're a very short person. However, from our perspective right now, you can't actually gauge how small we are. The character model is very small. When I'm standing next to some of the other races, even just humans and some of the other smaller races in the game, I'm still very small in comparison. And if it gives you any sort of gauge as to how small I am, look at how big that wooden axe is that I'm holding. Pretty big. But there's not really much we can do about that. That's one of the downsides of being a little hobbit. But in a way you could argue that it's quite realistic, because in fact hobbits are small and we'd have to deal with life-size, larger than life-size items of the rest of the world in Skyrim. Skyrim is not a place built for the dwarves. I mean, the dwarves, the bloody hobbits. What am I playing? Right, so this is the Hobbit Hole. Now, I don't know what's here. Some creepy hobbit girls everywhere. Is there anything I can take? Apparently this is all stealing, so obviously, in good old Skyrim fashion, we're going to crouch and we're going to steal loads of stuff. Steal from chest. Good thing about being a hobbit, we're light on our feet. We've got a good... Actually, let's have a look at our skills. Because unlike the other races, we actually start with a few different things. So we've actually got a high illusion skill. Makes easier to cast skills like Fear, Calm and Invisibility. So Invisibility is going to be useful, obviously, as a hobbit, because we're a sneaking race. Alchemy as well. Don't know how lore-friendly that is in the LOTR world, but we've got a higher level in it. Speech is moderately high. Lockpicking, moderately high, and Sneak is the next good thing. So these are the sort of things that you'd expect a hobbit to have. So sneak is going to be useful for stealing things. And to be honest, I'm not going to be a good hobbit. I'm going to be a naughty hillbo. Naughty hillbo stealing lots of things. If people can't hide them properly, then they don't deserve to have them. There's another hat, there's some shoes and a blacksmith's apron. I'm going to take that because it's worth quite a bit, strangely. Flute, we can steal this dagger. I mean, I don't know really what our best options here are. We've got a blacksmith's apron again, so I'm going to take that. Let's actually have a look at our apparel, because... no, the weapons, in fact. Because we've got this now, which is slightly better. We could probably do with just selling some of this rubbish that we picked off the ship. But... I suppose in another sense we could just store a load of rubbish here because we can just fast travel back here. It almost acts as a bit of a home for us. Now I think there is something around here that you can read which is Hobbit friendly. If I can actually find it. What is this? Open door? What's through here? There's actually nothing there. It's just a wooden wall behind a door. That's just fantastic. Here we go. Hobbits in Skyrim. Oh, it's actually increasing our speech. Oh, bloody hell. It's a shame it doesn't increase our speech in real life, isn't it? I'm going to read this, I do apologise. Hobbits arrived in Skyrim only 17 months before now. We left to seek change. We arrived in secret as hobbits do, and have laid low ever since. It's only now that hobbits are coming out into Skyrim openly, ever since the opening of the Hobbit hideout. It serves as a gathering point for all the hobbits in Skyrim, and is starting to thrive. Just recently, a man, possibly a hobbit, was reported captured by the Imperials for unknown reasons. He later escaped after strange happenings in the city of Helgen. If he is a hobbit, this will have been the first major event in Skyrim's hobbit history, and no matter what he did, he is a hobbit, and he will always be kind at heart, or so we hope. We hope that we will someday stumble across the hobbit hideout, where he will have accommodation for him and his people. If he is not of hobbit kind, he shall still be welcomed here, as long as no trouble is caused. Hobbits are multiplying throughout Skyrim, hobbit towns are developing across most of the holds, and I hope one day hobbits will inhabit all of Skyrim and Tamriel. So that was a lovely book, wasn't it? So what we can do, use the mournful throne.
Oh, wow, that was just sitting there? I wish I found it first.
Okay, that was odd. Thank you, child. What is this? Oh, it's just another one of these. Okay. Did I steal that other book? Oh dear God, I hope no one saw me. Can anyone see? If I'm this good at sneaking, I'd be impressed. But no, okay. Unfortunately, that is not the case. So what we're going to do, just have a look in here, see if there's anything else. I'm going to sneak. Is that child looking at me? Don't look at me, child. Still from this chest. We've got a goat hide. Not particularly useful. And a roll of paper. Might as well take these to sell. We've got quite a bit of gold, actually, strangely. But what we're going to do is we're going to go into the world, start our adventure, and see what lies for us in Whiterun. It's also a bit risky for a hobbit to travel in the night time, just before his size, and the fact that we're fairly Jesus Christ, unequipped with good shit, basically. So there we are. We're just going to have to hope that these roads are safe for us. Actually, just to gauge how small we are, as I said before, here we are. Look how small we are. That is so ridiculous. But, again, it is, I suppose, lore-worthy. It's right. And, in fact, we do actually have to look up at people, which is kind of cool in terms of things. I quite like that as a feature. But what we're going to do is we're going to head on to Whiterun, see what lies for us there. And don't worry, I know the start of the game may seem a bit just sort of normal Skyrim in places, but you will soon see, with all the mods that have been installed in this game, there will be some changes in the world. And in fact, speaking of which, if there's any mods that people would like me to install into this game, then please do post them in the comments below. Also post comments as to the sort of quest you'd like me to do, and what you think Hilbo would do in this new world. This new and strange world. Unfortunately, we did just miss this, which, if you know Skyrim in general, is...
Well, that's taken care of. No thanks to you.
Oh, well, I'm sorry, Aelia.
Ha! Another milk trip. Glory only awaits those who triumph. And as companions, our glory must always be hard fought. An outsider, eh? Never heard of the companions? An order of warriors. We are brothers and sisters in honor. And we show up to solve problems if the coin is good enough. Well, nobody asked. See what a warrior of true metal is.
I don't even care. You know what? Speak with... Oh, right, okay, so we've actually activated that quest anyway. So perhaps that was the right answer. Hilbo is a sarcastic dwarf, isn't he? I mean, hobbit. Jesus Christ, what is wrong with me? Dear God. Maybe I should have actually done a dwarf series. That might have been easier, just because I can't actually remember the word hobbit. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to go straight to the halls of Whiterun, see what lies ahead. This seems like a good place for the end of the first episode, and we'll see what the quests of little Hilbo Haggins lies ahead in the next episode. Also, if you enjoyed the idea of the series and the episode in general, please leave your support in the comments below. Also leave a like, that really does help me know if you want to see more. And subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you for watching. Goodbye. Awkward. Awkward goodbye. Awkward.